In this video, I'll be going through one tip per map that I consider crucial if you're looking to elevate your Breach gameplay, and we'll be starting out with what most people consider to be Breach's worst map, Icebox. So what we do on Icebox is stand screens, and when these spawn gates go down, you have a teammate, preferably Jet, Reyna, Waylay, or maybe even Chamber, walk up like this or peek from pipes, and you stun the exit into a lobby. Your teammates get a kill and escape with their dash, immunity, or teleport. We can also chuck a flash through this wall right here between these two boxes. This will flash anyone coming into a lobby, but it will not flash your teammate because it'll be blocked by the boxes. Just make sure you use the flash low enough so it doesn't go above the boxes, because then it will flash your teammate. And then we can also flash through this wall up here if you want to protect our teammate from belt.
Don't miss it too much.
Are you stunned?
On Ascent, what we do is stand here in garden and either wait for a teammate to make contact with the enemy team in tree, or wait for an indication they're moving into tree, like an ISO popping his shield or smokes coming down, etc. But just make sure you don't rely on this too much without gaining some kind of info, because they might be contact walking up on you, and in that case you are super dead. When your teammate makes contact tree, or you hear that indication and feel the timing is right, you stun like this. And almost every time anyone in tree will try to escape to short and hide in this corner right here. So we pop an choke into this corner, and if you want we can also use a flash after that. But the flash is optional, because at that point you might be caught with util in hand by someone that was still on short that wasn't stunned. And for Ascent, I'm going to show you a few different examples of this working and also semi-working, where I get a kill but I overextend with my utility, so I get caught with a flash in hand, but also where my team makes contact in tree, and also where I just use the stun on an indication that the enemy team is moving into tree.
And one coming one.
Shot A.
One shot, please. I have flash.
Powers out.
Flash out.
Take him in.
They're up short, up short.
Shot.
Oh, he's all the way up.
On B.
Garden now. On Lotus, we have a special version of the 3 stun, where instead of stunning in a straight line like this, we go towards B and stun in a diagonal line instead. This allows you to not only stun anyone opening the door, but also other enemies that are spread out around A main. The idea is the same as the regular stuns. When the enemy team takes A main, it's pretty much a guarantee they'll want to contest tree as well. So you have a teammate, preferably someone with a teleport or immunity like Jet, Waylay, or Reyna, stand ready next to the door while you stand here ready with your stun, and as soon as they press the switch to open the door, you release.
One more today. The one coming side.
On Haven, we have the basic C ult from Cubby, but with an added layer. As you can see on the map, it covers pretty much the entire bomb site except the outermost right side. So what happens every time is that anyone on C will jump up on logs or re-enter the site as soon as the ult expires, expecting to catch your team off guard because they're not stunned, and your team will go on the bomb site expecting them to be. So what we do is, after using our ult like this, we immediately charge a stun to cover the right side as well. This will enable us to catch anyone trying to sneak onto the bomb site on the right side, and it's not uncommon to find someone stunned on top of logs completely exposed.
Spike.
No distraction.
I have a...
I'm ulting after.
No dash.
One kill,
One more.
On split, it's a simple but very, very effective stun. We stand in B tower over here, and when the enemy team comes into tower, we stun like this, and often you'll either catch someone a bit further up or stuck in this corner over here. Just beware so you don't stay here for too long after stunning though, because odds are the enemy team has a teammate with some spacing that didn't get stunned, and they'll try to come up into tower after the stun to either trade or punish you for making a play. And a bonus tip for this play is to have a teammate playing rafters and peeking with you as well. Big now. On Pearl we have a stun that can be high risk but also high reward. What we do is play around backside if we know they're coming arch, so when they reach a link we stun stairs and peek. The high risk portion of this play comes from the fact we're open to A main, so if A main is smoked off this becomes less risky, but there's still a decent chance the enemy will push through the smoke as you're making the play, so having an extra teammate on site that covers A main is always appreciated when doing this play, but of course that is not always possible. And this stun isn't just doable on defense, you can definitely do this in a post plant as well, just be a bit more careful about where you stand.
2R.
I've stunned.
Doing a thing.
On Fracture, we all know about the standard A main stun to take control of A main. A stun I've seen almost no breach to, however, is this one from inside A main. And the reason we do this one instead of the standard stun is simply to get kills. So what we do is stand here, wait for an indication that they're moving into A main, which could for example be steps or utility. And a quick note here is if the enemy team has a breach, I would wait a bit further back because it's very likely the enemy breach will stun around here for the duelists. But after we get that indication, we release. If there's a jet, it's likely the jet will dash to safety here by this box next to the door, so having a teammate ready to open the door and pounce on the stun is a good idea, but you can also AppShock to force anyone in this corner to peek, but this also wastes valuable time where you don't have your gun out because there will be enemies towards the entrance of A main that weren't stunned and who will push out into A main to try and trade or punish your play, but this is something you'll have to decide on your own in any given round. Sometimes it's the right play, but sometimes it's not. I also want to add that there are situations where the normal A main stun is better and there are situations where it's not. So this is not a replacement for the A main stun, but simply an additional tool you can use when playing Breach on Fracture. I would also be wary of doing the stun if the enemy team has a Neon, because Neon just kind of ruins all the timings, and even if you stun the Neon and Neon gets to the door, you will get stunned back and peeked. I've tried this many times and the odds are never in your favor when doing this versus a Neon.
Don't smoke, don't smoke.
Steps.
All four. I see all four.
60 bridge.
Yeah, do it. Dead one.
60 bridge, 60. Nice.
On Bind we have what might be the best and most winningest breach stun on any map, which is the post plant stun in B halls. Whenever I play Bind and get into a post plant and see that I have a stun ready or almost ready, I try to take elbow control, simply because if we get it and I get to stun B halls, we massively increase our chances of winning the round, because the stun is unavoidable and they have literally nowhere to hide unless they're at the very, very bottom of B halls. So what we do is stand here and use our internal clock of where the enemy should realistically be based on how long ago we planted, or you can listen for indications like footsteps or utility, and when we feel the time is right, we release.
Easy.
It's the last of them.
On Abyss we have quite a risky combo, but when it works it's very satisfying. So what we do is when we get into a post plant on A and we see that A tower isn't smoked or the smoke is fading, we go for an AppShock like this and then flash into the AppShock while jumping up on the zip and turning our own flash. Flashing into the AppShock will make the flash incredibly hard to turn, and the AppShock will make sure no one is close to the zip line to punish us as we're ascending. And I do recommend trying this a few times in a custom game before trying it in ranked, because I did flash myself the first few times I tried this before I got the hang of it. On Breeze we have an incredible, although a bit risky stun if we're playing on the A side, so what we do is sit right here and wait for the enemy to commit through the mid wooden doors, and when they do we stun like this and jump up and collect our kills. The risk comes from the fact that when we jump up here to peek over this barrier, we're exposed to A main, and with the standard Viper wall on Breeze they could also already be in cubby right here, which means they'd instantly trade us or even kill us before we got a chance to shoot after we stun. So having a teammate on site to cover A main is very helpful when doing this one.
Nice.
City.
On Sunset we're doing a stun that is similar to the one on Fracture. Everyone knows about the standard A main stun for Sunset to gain control of A main, but not a lot of people are doing this stun from elbow. So what we're doing is letting them have A main for free and essentially baiting them to commit into A main, and when they've done just that we release our stun and catch them in the open. One thing you have to look out for though if you're doing this elbow stun is if the enemy team has a breach, because if they do it's very likely the breach will stun elbow, and in that case you are super dead. So if the enemy team has a breach I would probably just do the normal A main stun, and just like Fracture this elbow stun isn't a replacement for the standard A main stun. Both have their uses and this is simply an additional tool you can use when playing breach on Sunset. Let them come through and I'll stun everything.
Reloading.
And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this helpful don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.